Wake up.
Imagine if I told you that reality is always trying to communicate with you, but you've been conditioned not to notice. Every day, subtle signs cross your path, moments too precise to be pure chance. The song that plays just as someone crosses your mind, the repeating number you keep seeing, the unexpected encounter with someone who delivers exactly the insight you needed. You may have dismissed these as mere coincidences, but deep inside, you've sensed there's something more, and you're correct. Synchronicities aren't random. They're coded signals woven into the fabric of reality, gently steering you towards something bigger. Ancient cultures understood this. Mystics and thinkers explored it deeply, but modern society labels it luck, randomness, or accident because the system prefers you remain unaware. These instances are evidence that reality is not what you've been led to believe. In this video, we'll tear down the veil and dive into what synchronicities truly are, why they occur, and how you can harness them to transform your life. From the beginning of your life, you were molded to accept a reality dominated by logic, order, and predictability. Every phenomenon needed a rational explanation, and anything that didn't fit neatly was brushed off as mere coincidence or fantasy. But what if this wasn't an accident? What if it was a deliberate effort to keep you unaware of deeper forces at work? Think back to your earliest years. As a child, you were naturally sensitive to patterns, energies, and intuitive knowing. You could spot how events lined up perfectly, anticipate happenings, or sense when someone was thinking of you. But what happened? Whenever you voiced these experiences, you were told they were just your imagination. You were taught to dismiss these perceptions and to trust only what could be quantified, tested, and labeled. Society conditioned you to see the world as purely materialistic, like a machine without any mystery or intelligent design, just random, disconnected incidents. Gradually, you stopped noticing the signs. Education had a major hand in reinforcing this blindness. Schools didn't teach you how to recognize intuition, understand synchronicities, or work with unseen energies. Instead, you were trained to memorize information, conform to rules, and obey authority figures. Creativity, intuitive insights, and abstract thinking were pushed aside to make room for logic, measurable facts, and rigid reasoning. If it couldn't be seen or measured, it was deemed unreal. Challenging this worldview was discouraged. The entire system was engineered to make you place full trust in external authorities, not your inner wisdom. Science was set up as the ultimate judge of truth, but not true science that ventures into the unknown. Rather, a controlled, materialistic version claiming everything is random and without deeper meaning. Within this framework, synchronicities are written off as cognitive tricks of the mind. Keep noticing 11:11? Just confirmation bias. Meet the perfect person at the ideal moment? Just coincidence. Everything meaningful is stripped away, leaving you alienated from the forces that have always been guiding you. Here's what often gets left out. Some of history's greatest thinkers, like Carl Jung, Nikola Tesla, and Albert Einstein, recognized that reality isn't nearly as random as we've been taught. They saw that synchronicities, patterns, and hidden links pointed toward a much deeper truth. Yet even today, society mocks anyone who takes these experiences seriously. Mention synchronicities openly, and you'll quickly be labeled superstitious, irrational, or even crazy. Those who embrace these signs are often pushed to the margins, seen as eccentric or deluded, while those who stick strictly to the materialist narrative are celebrated as rational, intelligent, and logical. But this division isn't random. It's deliberate social conditioning. If you want to control people, the first thing you do is make sure they never realize their own true power. Because the second you start noticing synchronicities, you awaken to a stunning realization. You are part of something far greater than yourself. Some truths are too profound to fully share here on YouTube, and that's why I created Insights Academy, where we dive deep into the hidden mechanics of reality. If you enroll today, you'll get a free ebook copy of The Kalian, one of the most powerful writings on universal principles. Just follow the link in the description and enter your email before it disappears. The real reason they don't want you paying attention to synchronicities is because they reveal the cracks in the illusion. They prove that reality isn't some cold, meaningless machine. It's an intelligent network reacting to your thoughts, feelings, and energy. And once you start noticing the patterns, you can't go back. That's where real awakening begins. The next question naturally follows. If these synchronicities aren't random, what exactly are they? Where do they originate? And why do they seem to multiply once you become aware of them? Let's dig deeper. At some point, you've probably had a moment so perfectly aligned, so precisely timed, that it seemed impossible to chalk up to coincidence. You think of someone after years of no contact, and suddenly they reach out. You flip open a random page of a book and find the exact answer to a question that's been heavy on your heart. You start noticing number patterns, 111, 222, 333, popping up everywhere as if the universe itself is dropping breadcrumbs for you to follow. These aren't random accidents, they're messages, and the more attention you give them, the more frequently they occur. Here's the deeper truth. Synchronicities are not just coincidences, they are intentional signals from a higher intelligence, a guiding force that has been quietly working with you your entire life. Reality isn't a random mess of unrelated events, it's an interconnected web of energy and consciousness. Every thought you form, every intention you set, every feeling you generate emits a frequency, like a signal broadcast to the universe. And synchronicities are how the universe answers back. They serve as a bridge between the visible and invisible realms, between the physical and the metaphysical, the conscious and the subconscious. Carl Jung, one of modern psychology's most brilliant minds, coined the term synchronicity after seeing countless examples of events aligning in ways that logic alone couldn't explain. He understood that these meaningful coincidences were glimpses into a hidden order, a truth that ancient spiritual traditions have recognized for thousands of years. Eastern philosophies might call it karma. Mystics refer to it as divine timing. Quantum scientists talk about non-locality, the understanding that everything is interconnected beyond the limits of space and time. Yet mainstream science largely steers clear of these discussions, waving them off as illusions, despite growing evidence that suggests otherwise. But it goes even deeper than neuroscience alone. Quantum physics has long hinted that consciousness plays a critical role in shaping reality itself. The famous double-slit experiment revealed that simply observing a particle changes its behavior at the subatomic level. In other words, reality isn't some fixed, objective structure. It's dynamic and responsive. Your thoughts, emotions, and attention are constantly interacting with the very fabric of existence. Now combine this with one of the most fundamental metaphysical principles, the law of vibration. Everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs all carry specific energetic signatures, and these frequencies determine what you draw into your life. If your mind is saturated with fear, scarcity, and limitation, your energy aligns with those vibrations, and your reality begins to reflect them. But when you shift your inner state, when you focus on purpose, alignment, and the magic of synchronicities, your external world starts to transform as well. That's why individuals who awaken to synchronicities begin to experience them more frequently. It's not merely that they're noticing more, it's that their entire energetic frequency is shifting and the universe is responding to that new signal. By focusing on signs, patterns, and hidden messages, you're tuning your consciousness into the deeper structure of reality, like adjusting a radio dial to pick up a hidden broadcast. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your subconscious mind plays a massive role in the manifestation of synchronicities. While your conscious mind is preoccupied with daily activities, your subconscious is constantly scanning for deeper connections, weaving together information, and detecting patterns invisible to the surface mind. When you set a strong intention, whether consciously or unconsciously, your subconscious begins orchestrating events behind the scenes, aligning situations that pull you toward your desired outcome. This is why those who truly believe in synchronicities seem to experience them far more often. Their subconscious is actively participating in this cosmic dance. Of course, the skeptics will argue that synchronicities are nothing more than selective attention, that your brain simply picks out random events and assigns them meaning. But if that were true, why do these moments so often feel profoundly personal? Why do they align so precisely with your inner thoughts, emotions, and life questions, often showing up at the exact right moment to alter your path? Because synchronicities aren't random coincidences. They are a form of dialogue, a conversation happening between your conscious mind, your subconscious, and the deeper intelligence that weaves together all of reality. The secret lies in learning how to work with them consciously. Because once you align yourself intentionally, synchronicities don't just happen more frequently. They become a transformational tool, unlocking the deeper layers of existence itself. And this brings us to a deeper mystery. Why do some people seem surrounded by synchronicities, while others hardly experience them at all? What separates those who flow effortlessly with life's hidden patterns from those stuck in randomness and confusion? The answer may surprise you. Let's go even further. If synchronicities are happening around us all the time, why do only certain people recognize them? Why do some individuals live in alignment with these hidden currents while others remain oblivious? It all comes down to three things: awareness, alignment, and belief. Most people move through life in a state of disconnection, trapped within a mindset built on logic, skepticism, and rigid materialism. They are trained to believe that life is mechanical, that events are random, and that the universe is cold and indifferent. This belief system acts like a wall around their consciousness, blocking out the subtle signals of synchronicity. Even when meaningful coincidences occur, they dismiss them, blind to the deeper forces at work. Think of it like this. Imagine standing in a dark room filled with invisible radio waves, hundreds of stations playing at once. Without a radio tuned to the right frequency, you'd hear nothing at all. Synchronicities work the same way. Unless your mind is tuned into the frequency of alignment and deeper awareness, you will miss the signals that reality is constantly broadcasting. Now let's contrast this with people who live in tune with synchronicities. These individuals aren't special or gifted in some extraordinary way. They've simply trained their minds to become receptive to the signs all around them. Rather than brushing off strange alignments as coincidences, they stay alert, trust their intuition, and follow the patterns when they appear. And here's the fascinating part. The more you acknowledge synchronicities, the more they seem to multiply. This happens because of two powerful forces working together: the subconscious mind and the law of vibration. Your subconscious is constantly absorbing information that your conscious mind overlooks. It picks up subtle patterns, hidden opportunities, and invisible threads of connection. When you begin to focus on synchronicities, you're essentially reprogramming your subconscious, telling it this matters. In response, your mind starts filtering reality differently, bringing more synchronicities into your awareness. This is how some people seem to create their own luck. They are consciously guiding their reality, staying attuned to opportunities that others miss. Their subconscious minds are wired to spot synchronicity. Now let's talk about the law of vibration. Every part of the universe, including your thoughts and emotions, operates on frequency. When you're trapped in low vibrational states like fear, doubt, or negativity, your energy contracts and your field of perception narrows. You become preoccupied with survival concerns and disconnected from the bigger picture, making synchronicities harder to recognize. But when you raise your vibration through practices like gratitude, mindfulness, curiosity, and intentional living, you realign yourself with the universal flow. Your energy expands. Your consciousness tunes into higher frequencies, allowing synchronicities to manifest with ease. This is why those who meditate, practice self-awareness, or engage in deep introspection often report an explosion of synchronicities. They've quieted the mental noise, allowing the subtle communications of reality to finally be heard. But there's one more essential ingredient: trust. The people who experience a consistent flow of synchronicities are the ones who trust the process. They don't endlessly second-guess whether a sign is real. They act on it. They move with the current, and in doing so, they strengthen the signal. When you trust, acknowledge, and act on synchronicities, they multiply exponentially. And this is where most people miss out. They notice the signs but hesitate. They question, doubt, or ignore them. This weakens the connection, because synchronicities aren't just passive messages. They are invitations for action and alignment. The universe is opening doors for you, but you must choose to walk through them. Which leads us to a bigger question. How do you strengthen this relationship? How do you recognize, interpret, and respond to synchronicities so they become a true guiding force in your life? The key is learning how to decode the signs. And that's exactly what we're about to explore. Let's go deeper. Synchronicities are already happening all around you. The problem is, most people either fail to notice them or dismiss them as meaningless. But once you learn how to identify these signs and understand their messages, you'll realize that reality has been speaking to you all along. The very first step to working with synchronicities is simple but powerful: awareness. You must shift your mindset away from the belief that life is random and start seeing the deep interconnection behind everything. The universe speaks through symbols, patterns, and perfect timing. These signs often appear in three main forms: repeating numbers, symbolic messages, and synchronistic events. Have you ever noticed certain numbers appearing again and again, like 1111, 222, or 333? These repeating sequences are not random accidents. Numbers carry their own vibrational frequencies, and when they start showing up repeatedly in your life, it's a clear signal. Something within your reality is shifting. Ancient mystical traditions taught that numbers form the very blueprint of creation, meaning their appearance is never meaningless. When you notice these sequences, pause and pay attention to what you're thinking or feeling in that moment, because your subconscious is speaking to you. Synchronicities also show up through symbolic encounters: objects, animals, songs, phrases, seemingly ordinary things that hold deeper meaning when they appear at just the right moment. Maybe a song plays that perfectly matches your current emotional state, or a specific animal crosses your path multiple times. Perhaps you hear the same phrase repeated by different people in a single day. These are not random occurrences. They are threads of a larger message. The secret is this: if something feels significant, trust that it is. Then there are the unlikely events, the moments when the universe seems to move in perfect alignment. Just when you're ready to give up, a breakthrough arrives. You meet exactly the right person at exactly the right time. These meaningful coincidences are not products of chance. They are guiding forces steering you toward your highest path. But how do you begin to decode these synchronicities? It starts by asking the right questions. Every time a synchronicity happens, pause and reflect. What was I thinking or feeling just before this occurred? What decision am I currently facing? And how could this be connected? Does this event confirm or challenge something I've been contemplating? Is there a pattern here? Have I experienced this before? One of the most powerful practices you can adopt is keeping a synchronicity journal. Write down every unusual, meaningful encounter, no matter how small. Over time, you'll notice the patterns becoming clearer. Symbols will repeat, messages will become unmistakable. The more you document synchronicities, the more frequently they'll show up, because you are training your mind to notice and decode the language of the universe. But here's the hidden truth. Simply recognizing synchronicities is only the beginning. Transformation happens when you act on them. When you see a repeating sign urging you toward a choice, follow it. When the same message shows up again and again, respond. Those who live in harmony with synchronicity are not just passive observers, they are active participants who trust the signs and move when called. Which leads us to the most important part: how to consciously attract more synchronicities into your life. Because once you learn how to open the channel intentionally, you can use synchronicities as a powerful tool for transformation. Let's go deeper. Recognizing synchronicities is powerful, but learning to use them, to let them guide you, align you, and elevate your reality is where the real magic lies. Synchronicities are not just signs. They are sacred invitations. Invitations to shift, to evolve, to move into a life where everything begins to flow effortlessly in your favor. The question is, are you noticing the signs? And more importantly, are you willing to answer the call? Most people see synchronicities as mystical, passive occurrences, fun coincidences to notice when they happen. But in truth, synchronicities are a direct line of communication between you and the deeper intelligence of the universe. They aren't just random events. They are signals, guiding you toward alignment or serving as warnings that you may be off course. The people who experience the most synchronicities aren't just lucky. They are conscious creators, actively shaping their reality. So, how do you start using synchronicities to transform your life? It all boils down to three essential steps: intention, alignment, and action. 1. Set a clear intention. Synchronicities respond to focus and clarity. The more specific your thoughts and desires, the clearer the signs will become. If you need guidance, ask for it. Make it intentional. Show me a sign that I'm on the right path. Reveal the next step toward my purpose. Bring me the right people, opportunities, and circumstances. But here's the key: remain open to how those answers show up. The universe doesn't communicate through predictable, linear methods. It speaks through symbols, emotions, experiences, and serendipitous moments. The more you ask with intention, the more you'll begin to notice the signs unfolding around you. 2. Align your energy. Synchronicities are a direct reflection of your vibrational state. If you're wrapped in resistance, doubt, fear, or overthinking, you block the flow of energy. But when you step into trust, excitement, and receptivity, synchronicities will start to appear more frequently. This is why synchronicities tend to spike when you're in the midst of a major transition, when you're stepping into unfamiliar but aligned territory. The fastest way to increase synchronicities is to raise your vibration. Practices like meditation, gratitude, visualization, and deep self-reflection put you in a state of openness, allowing the flow of synchronicities to intensify. If you've ever experienced a time when everything seemed to fall into place, that wasn't luck. It was alignment at work. 3. Take aligned action. This is where most people falter. They notice the signs but hesitate. They second-guess themselves, wait for more confirmation. But synchronicities aren't just messages to observe. They are catalysts for action. If you keep seeing the same number, phrase, or symbol, it's not by chance. It's a nudge. If you feel drawn to a new person, opportunity, or path, the universe is opening a door for you. Step through it. The universe doesn't reward indecision, it rewards action. And here's the most powerful truth: synchronicities multiply when you act on them. Once you begin trusting the guidance and moving in alignment with it, reality starts rearranging itself in your favor. The more you respond to the signs, the louder and more frequent they become. Movement creates momentum, and the universe will begin to mirror your actions. People who live in deep alignment with synchronicities don't just notice the signs, they act on them. As a result, they experience a reality where opportunities, connections, and perfect timing become second nature. They're not waiting for life to unfold. They are co-creating with it, the final choice. Now that you understand what synchronicities are, how they function, and how to harness their power, the final question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? The next step is integration. It's time to step fully into the path of awareness, connection, and alignment. Once you make the choice to embrace synchronicities as a tool for transformation, your life will begin to shift in profound ways. Let's dive even deeper. Now that you know the truth about synchronicities, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Most people, after hearing everything we've uncovered, will fall back into their old habits. They'll notice a synchronicity, feel a fleeting moment of awe, and then brush it off as coincidence. They'll receive a sign pointing them to something new, but instead of acting on it, they'll hesitate, overthink, and let fear hold them back. They'll remain stuck in the loop of doubt, waiting for more proof, waiting for something bigger, waiting for certainty. But here's the harsh truth: certainty never comes before action. The system has conditioned you to dismiss these signs, to explain them away, to stay disconnected from the deeper intelligence guiding your life. But now you see it. You understand that reality isn't random. It's structured, intelligent, and responsive. And more importantly, you are part of that structure. Your thoughts, emotions, and choices shape the path ahead. You are not just moving through reality, you are co-creating it. So what does this mean? It means that synchronicities aren't just happening to you, they're happening for you. Every alignment, every moment of perfect timing, 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 every moment of perf Every repeating number, symbol, or message is an invitation to step into a new way of being, to trust, to expand, to align, and most importantly, to act. If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Do not ignore the signs. The universe speaks in whispers at first. If you don't listen, the messages get louder. Keep ignoring them, and the synchronicities fade away, leaving you back in the grip of unconscious patterns, aimlessly drifting without direction. But if you listen, if you treat synchronicities as real and follow where they lead, your entire life can change. The people who experience the most synchronicities aren't just lucky. They're paying attention. They're acting on intuition, trusting the process. And because of that, life moves in a way that seems effortless, like something is working behind the scenes to align everything in their favor. And guess what? It is. But here's the kicker. There's so much more to this than I can share in this video. Now that you've seen the patterns, now that you've felt the alignments, it's time to stop second-guessing and start trusting. Pay attention, follow the signs, act on them. Because once you step into alignment, you'll realize that synchronicities aren't rare at all. They're everywhere, waiting for you to wake up and finally see them. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. The universe is always speaking to you, and the more you tune in, the more you'll realize just how much magic is happening around you. If this message resonated with you, share it with others. Help us spread the word, and together we can awaken more people to the power of synchronicities. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next lesson. Let's continue this journey of discovery together. See you in the next video.